Hey, this is John OBrien speaking on the Kanye West affair. Really, it's Black Capitalist Matter series. But this is really using this unfortunate situation as a backdrop for delivering the message. Um, Kanye West, I have said for some time, is a genius in many ways. I think that he has been off his medicine. That's not a derogatory statement. I think there's some mental illness issues. There's some other issues going on with his life that have not been worked out, have not been sorted out. And I feel sorry for that. Ever since he lost his mother, it's been another situation, and it doesn't seem like he's gotten proper support. But that's his personal issue. He has taken his genius in the professional world and accumulated enough wealth. You make money during the day, you build wealth at night. Enough wealth with his genius to become a billionaire, at least on paper. But in the last, since his divorce was announced, it's been, I think, an emotional roller coaster and a spiral. But that aside, in the last, just stick with the facts that I know, 10 weeks, it's been a crap show at Kanye West Enterprises. The Gap deal, goodbye, this deal, that deal, walking out on this, walking out on that, saying crazy stuff, and then locking up with the former president who's in Florida, based in Florida, on some crazy stuff, and then locking into White Lives Matter. Like when I'm making this statement here, this is a positive statement about something that who can argue with. Of course, Black capitalists matter. We need more of them. White Lives Matter is almost a punch in the face. We all know this fact. All lives matter. Let me start there. But you're talking about minority groups and those who've been oppressed. Now, you could say poor white lives should matter more because that's a material fact. There are more poor white people in America than poor anybody else. And the number one group dying in this country are high school educated white men dying from depression and opioid addiction. My heart goes out for that community as well. So you talk about oppressed groups in America, African Americans, poor whites, Native American Indians. Now we're talking about something. But when you're trying to incite something in order to create a brand identity so you can make some money, which is, I believe, was what that White Lives Matter t-shirt was all about, then you've unmoored yourself from your values and bad things are going to happen. But then even that wasn't enough. He said that basically slavery was a choice. It didn't happen, some crazy stuff. And I'm going to get back to that because it's relevant to the backstory here of Black Capitalists Matter and why this is important, why Operation Hope's life work is important. But even that didn't trigger something. But some Black people are now upset because in the backdrop of his comment, that I believe is anti-Semitic. He said he was going to war basically against Jewish people. Now, my friend sent me another tape from the same interview where he was commending Jews, saying he was jealous of his Jewish brothers and sisters, saying he was the original Jew, and that he was jealous of Jewish people because of basically how well they've succeeded. It was actually a backhanded compliment. He should have stayed with that line of thinking and that line of talk. When he said what he said about Jews, I said, that's the beginning of the end. I put it on Twitter last week. I said, that's it. It's over. It's done. Watch his career begin to unravel. Unfortunately, that prediction was correct. And people, to my utter disappointment, a lot of people look like me, began jumping on whomever and jumping on me, I guess. I don't care. Talking about basically, why am I defending Jews? Huh? I'm with God, and God is against hate. And by the way, we're all one. Check your DNA. All DNA, 99.9% plus, is all the same. It happened as a result of where the sun was. That's a whole nother thing. We're all brothers and sisters. And yes, are Black people oppressed? And yes, we are. And we've been enslaved. That's a whole nother backstory. I'm just saying that I understand and I'm not living in a strange world. But that doesn't mean I get a chance that I'm going to pass on somebody dumping on my brothers and sisters who happen to look differently than me. Besides the fact that I've got a lot of great relationships with my Jewish brothers and sisters. Besides the fact I've done relationships and done business with many in the Jewish community, and it was extraordinary. Besides the fact that Jews helped with the civil rights movement, were half of whites supporting Dr. King. Besides the fact that Hitler used the same tactics against them that they used against us. They actually took the bad lessons from racists in the South of how they treated Blacks with segregation, laws and took those and put them into the movement against Jews that led up to World War II. The same laws Hitler was quoted as saying he took from some whites oppressing blacks in the South and used them against Jews, and of course exterminated 6 million of them. So I think there's a bond. I think there's an understanding. I think Jews have compassion. It's unique because of what they've gone through. But that aside, it's just wrong. Anti-Semitism is just wrong, and I call it the way I see it. Uh, if you're white and you discriminate, it's wrong. If you're Asian and you discriminate, it's wrong. If you're black and you discriminate, it's wrong. Period. And unfortunately, he hit a tripwire in the entertainment community where that actually resonated directly with where his money and his wealth was coming from. And that's why I said this was going to end badly. And so I thought Adidas did the right thing, even though it destroyed their income statement to disconnect from Kanye. And again, you look at the comments on my Instagram feed, you'll see, and it got reasonable. I sort of talked to people and said, oh, you look at this the wrong way, you look silly. It got reasonable. But understand this, number one, business is not personal. It's not emotional. It's business. Capitalism is a gladiator sport. 2 men or 2 women go into a stadium, one comes out, right? I mean, it's not personal. It's just what it is. What we have got to do and what we've denied is to understand capitalism and the free enterprise system and to use it for our benefit to lift our communities up. Every community has uses in the world to set themselves free. All money is freedom, except really Black America. You can also say Native American Indians. You can also say poor whites. But in this particular instance, because of the slavery experience and how extraordinary that was and how that built this country, I'm going to say the largest reverse transfer of wealth in modern history has been African Americans, because we built the country for free as slaves. And so that's why I think this is more notably poignant. This is why I bring out the Friedmans Bank of 1865 that Lincoln created to teach free slaves about money after slavery, why I talk about 40 acres of mule and a bank chartered to teach free slaves about money and set people free with access to capital. And that when Lincoln was assassinated, we lost that whole memo. That Dr. King came 100 years later and we assassinated him on the eve of the Poor People's Campaign, lost that whole memo. So we're not dumb and we're not stupid. It's what we don't know that we don't know that's killing us, but we think we know. That's why we succeeded in the arts. Rules are published, playing field is level. Professional sports, rules are published, playing field is level. In politics, rules are published, playing field is level, but not in business, not in entrepreneurship, not on Wall Street, not in finance, not in capitalism. So I know this. I know money, and I know, and it's not some Jewish cabal. Since all these strange comments, like you can't get people in your own family to agree on something. You really think this group of Jews sitting around somewhere in a room saying, "Let's hurt black people"? No, they're trying to get the best deal possible at that negotiating table. Let's go back 30 years ago when blacks were taken advantage of in the music business still today, but really back then, we didn't read the contract. We wanted to sing. We didn't have a lawyer on our side reading that contract. We didn't pay attention that it was the music business, right? The business of music. And we thought that we'd be treated fairly. No, you've got to protect your rights because business is self-interested. That's why it's not a cabal. These folks are any business person is too self-interested to be focused on somebody else's agenda. Again, I got bums in my own family. I don't have to go looking for folks in another race to find a bum. I can find a bum in my own DNA. And you can too. Blacks have oppressed people. Hello. Blacks enslaved people. Arabs enslaved people. Asians enslaved people. Whites we know enslaved people. How do you think the blacks got from the middle of Africa to the coast? Because it was trading amongst the tribes. So let's get out of this blame game. And look, you can go to the hood right now and find somebody who's black oppressing and beating and gang raping whatever our own people are financially arbitraging us. You don't need to go find somebody else. So let's stop blaming anybody. There are good people and there are bad people. Some of them happen to be white, Jewish, black, orange, or whatever, right? So it's wrong for anybody to go ape on and go crazy against Jews. Sounds so racist to me. I'm about to say some of the nice people I've met with Jews, but I mean, some of my closest friends happen to be Jewish, and some of my closest business relationships. It's ridiculous. Like you have good people and bad people everywhere. Okay, now we're at 9 minutes. Enough of that. So that's one of the posts on IG we'll talk about. The second message here is a second piece I put up. My friend Sean Blanchard put up a post that said. It said not one company ended their relationship with Kanye when he said slavery was a choice. That's another point that I made that people glossed over in the first post. And then I said in response to that, my friend Sean posted this, and then I said, by the way, you can tell people they can go right to minute 10 if you want to hear just the meat of this and not leave me running on for 10 minutes. Then I said, quote, then we need to start we need to start growing and owning companies big enough to say yes and to say no. Then we need to start owning and grooming companies big enough to say yes and to say no. Then you can decide when somebody offends you, just like Jews obviously did in this case and others. When somebody offends you and you own the company, you can say, it's been real, it's been nice, it's not been real nice, goodbye. And it's the end of the conversation. It's not personal, it's not emotional, it's just business. And it's your business, and you can decide who you want to do business with and who you are not. And then I went on and said that part, we need to start writing checks and not just cashing them. That's the next movement. It's responsible wealth creation at scale. That's why we have 1 million Black businesses created by Operation Hope to create 1 million new Black businesses by 2030. By the way, we've already created 270,000 Black businesses in 2 years since George Floyd's murder. And there's only 2.8 million Black businesses in America today. So we've created 10% of Black businesses through Shopify in the last 2 years at no cost to the business, free website, free domain name, payment systems, delivery systems, e-commerce, all that to get you a step in business. And we've we've only just begun partnering with the SBA and others to grow that work. And then I say, and that's what Operation Hope has been doing. I founded it 30 years ago, and it's what Operation Hope is doing, coaching us up to make us qualified so we can get access to capital, so we can grow these businesses. All money is freedom, I wrote in this IG post, this was actually gone quasi-viral. And we need to be the 21st century version of free. I call that silver rights. So that's why Black capitalists matter, because you want to write the check, not just cash it. You want to own the basketball court, not just play on the basketball team. You want to own the music, not just sing the song. Quincy Jones, a great producer and friend of mine, once said, if you think you're in the music business and you don't own music rights, publishing rights, licensing rights, or some kind of rights in music, then you're not actually in the music business. You're just a temporary performer. We have got to start owning the game and not just playing it or having it play us. And most of all, we have got to stop getting angry and start getting even. Anger is not a business plan, and frustration is not a strategy. And blame is not going to get you anywhere. I can't guarantee you that being positive is going to make you a success, but I absolutely guarantee you that being negative will make you fail. John OBrien, Love and Light. Go to Operation Hope, sign up, download the Hope in Hand app, sign up to 1 Million Black Business Initiative. Yes, the t-shirts will be on sale soon. Hold on, it's coming. Follow me at John OBrien. Go to my blog at John OBrien. I think it's johnobrien.com. And check out what I'm doing at John OBrien Holdings, which is where I build my wealth through the Promise Homes Company and Bryan Group Ventures, et cetera, so that I can do good in the world through Operation Hope, my philanthropy, which I've also donated $2.5 million of my own money to at the beginning of this year, giving back personally beyond what we do through Operation Hope. It's me giving back to my own organization, in addition to the other philanthropic work we do through the Bryant Family Foundation, et cetera. You can't give anything you don't have. So the best way to not be poor is to do the exact opposite of what poor people do. I want you to build, starting with you, and then see what you have to give. Love and light.